Hello everyone, thank you for being patient with me. That was chaotic. Um, I haven't even had time to set up the stream, so I figured I want to actually take this opportunity. So don't count this as officially us starting our dev stream and stuff like that. What I want to do, capture screen, window capture. Sorry, I'm setting up OBS live as we go. It's me downloading the latest update. Here we go. This is what I want to show. I want to show off some of the bases you guys built, because it's freaking awesome. Like, I'll start the dev stream, I'll talk all about patch notes, like, new features coming, etc., but I need a moment just to calm down and breathe. So why don't we show some of the cool stuff you guys have made, because this is just absolutely awesome. I don't have clear track of who made what, so like I can't properly credit people. But for those of you who don't know, the Mars4 base building competition is going on right now. It ends at the end of day today, like in like 7 hours or 6 hours, something like that. So if you're still working on your base, if you haven't published them yet, please do so immediately. Because there is rewards to be had. So let's skip around a bit. This base is made by Sierra8. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. And that's just crazy. I'll be totally honest. Like, I did not expect people to build anywhere near as massive and intricate bases as they did. Oh shit, sorry. I'm trying to open my beer. This is very much needed. For those of you who like dark beers, Pokjala is... Oh, it doesn't. Pokjala is freaking amazing. Best dark beers ever. This is a Imperial Stout, aged for a year in a Pedro Jimenez sherry barrel. Yeah. And it's just... All of the Pokjala beers are out of this world. It's spelt P-O with an accent, H-J-A-L-A. There we go. I've shilled my beer, now I can get back to shilling Mars. So, let's look at one of the other bases. Oh, that doesn't exist. That lift doesn't work. This one. Link also does not work. This one. Yes. Holy hell, that's a really tall building. Wow, that's like an entire city. I don't even know like how long would it have taken to build that. Like that's at least. Whoa, that was super cool. What was that? Let's go back. That is really cool. Look what he did. How like he made little balconies like that stretch up. What was it? There it is. That's awesome. I love that. But yeah, this is like at least 20, 30 hours of work. I mean, even with dev hacks, like building that much is crazy. Let's see some other ones. Beacon of Hope. Is that the same base? Or is that a different base? Oh, I think that's that tower from the top. Yeah. That's crazy. That is so cool. Ah. That's so cool. I love it. Like you guys have made some absolutely amazing bases. I'm so impressed and proud and just mind blown at what you guys have made. Oh, that's cool. I like it. Oh, nice entryway. We haven't seen many of those. Like I haven't seen many people make interesting entryways and stuff to bases. Oh god, that's good. That is amazing. I like how you decorated that. I really like how these the wall ornaments. These ones, how they look on those tier 2 walls. Like they look really cool. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Let's see what else. Have a great day station. Oh, I've seen this one. I really like. This was so cool. I don't know who did this. I saw it on Discord as well, but it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. That's so cool. So what he did was he used lamps. He made a big ass wall here, and then he used lamps. Like those are the little lamps, you know, they're like this big you can put on the walls, and he used it to spell that out. And because they're bright, you see them through the fog, and you just see that floating in the air. Like that is so cool, so creative. I never would have thought of that. When I showed this to the other developers as well, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, that's an awesome idea." Yeah, super creative. I love it. Let's see what we have here. Oh, oh I guess this is the bottom of that station. Pair is so good. Nice little factories and stuff going. So we have here. Oh yeah, this was beautiful as well. Like that is just really cool. I liked what he did there. It feels very it was like Middle Eastern architecture kind of things. Like I could imagine seeing like a building like that in like Space Mecca. And it's awesome. I love it. I'm not sure what makes it look Middle Eastern to me. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about it that really gives me that feel. I don't know if like you guys also see that, but like something about it makes maybe it's the coloring. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact it's in the middle of a desert in a sandstorm. But something about it. I don't know. I really like it. I think this may be one of my favorites, but I really like that. Super well done. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Like a proper star fort kind of thing going there. I did it. Yeah, that was really... Wait, how did you do that? So it's all triangle foundations. And the star looks like it's like it has 5 points. So how did they do that geometrically? Oh yeah, because those three triangle foundations together would make a pentagon. No, would it make a hexagon? Alright, so I guess there must be 6 points on the star. And then, okay, I'm going to stop failing at geometry in front of you guys. Let's see what we have here. Oh wow, that's a very big box. I feel bad. You need optimization. I'm sorry, don't worry, the game will run better on your computer eventually. Oh wow, actually looks really cool inside. Oh, it's like a hotel! Ah, I wonder if that's what it actually says. Yeah, first hotel on Mars. Nick, you're welcome to... Oh, thank you very much. It's a very nice looking hotel. I dig it. Wait, is that a single chair just to look at the art on the wall? Yes. Yes, there's just one chair. You sit here and you will look at that art. Nothing else, no one else, just look at that. Because it's cool. I respect that. I respect that. If I could make everyone do that with my games, I would be much happier. What do we have here? Some dude freezing to death because he has no walls. Okay. Wait. Alright. Cool little base. I'm curious to see what it looks like from the outside. I don't think we have a picture from the outside. No. Oh wait. Oh, I think this is actually that base from the outside. Oh. I don't know what base that is, but that's cool. What is this? Let's see what bases we have here. Oh wow, yeah, I saw this one on what do you call it? Discord. That's crazy. Looks super cool. I really like how the scaffolding looks. See what else we have here. Japanese. Oh yeah, Spiros, our art director, because he's a freaking weeaboo. I absolutely loved this one. Oh, that's cool. Like, he has a little reception area. Yeah, like reception area with lamps and stuff on it. I did that. Oh wow, that is a very hardcore capsule hotel. I think I would prefer stay in Lions Hotel. I just forgot your name. Starts with an L. Lion, Leonidas, something like that. I think I would much prefer stay in your hotel. It seems a lot more appealing than this one. I mean, gorgeous design-wise. I like it design-wise, but I think I would prefer live in yours. But I bet yours is probably going to be more expensive than his. Oh, that's just that. Alright, he built Fabricator. It's something. Hashtag, it's something. I really like the colors though. Like, I think he took a picture with his phone of his screen, and the colors in that background turned out really nice. Although I am kind of a fan for oversaturated colors, so 'tis a weakness of mine. Okay, so let's start talking about patch notes and that stuff. Let me, one sec. Let me just open up for the lulz. Where is, one sec, the list of all the fixes that will be coming to this version, to this next patch. The next patch will probably be ready tomorrow or so. I was hoping to put it up yesterday, but we still had a few bugs. We're still working on sorting out like the windows disappearing. That one's been a really weird bug. But here, like, I'm not sure how much of this you can actually, okay, so 2 there. So this is every one of the commits from like our engineers and stuff. So this is each thing that they've changed. Like, some are little things like added a uranium ore icon. Other things are significantly larger fixes. And just look. Keeps going. Keeps going. Keeps going. Still keeps going. There you go. And this was as of yesterday. I think this is as of yesterday. No, it's as of 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So there's actually like another 15 to 20 changes and stuff that still haven't been up there. As I said, we wanted to put the patch out on the 27th, but the window disappearing bug, we thought we fixed it, and then while doing a day of QA, we found that it's still kind of there. So we're still doing more QA on that, trying to figure out what is the cause of that and fix that. Yeah. So right now, as we speak, wait, what? Oh. That's weird. Yeah, give me 2 minutes. So I'm downloading the latest update version. I didn't have time to download it before the stream, unfortunately, so I am getting that downloaded now, and I will join you guys, and I'll show you guys some of the latest stuff we're working on. So in addition to just a metric crap ton of bug fixes and tweaks and balance tweaks and stuff like that you guys have reported, we also have been working on the new UI. And let me playtesting. Oh, here's another thing actually. We tweaked the visuals of the tier 1 building a bit. And also, like right now, this is just bug testing footage, like seeing how that line appears and disappears. Someone reported that bug, and we're looking into it, trying to see what the cause is. And also, as you can see, we've changed the lighting a bit. This is like nighttime lighting, but we've done a bit more work on the lighting, and also, as you can see here, the this is the update of the HUD. It still has more work to do. There's still work in progress. However, this is kind of the general style we're going for. And what we will be aiming to do, UI. Can I just open this URL? Does this work? Yeah, but it's tiny. Does this work? Yeah, but it's still tiny. Can I just? This? Oh yes, I can just kind of zoom in on it. So here's what we're thinking of doing. The idea is that these, like, here's your normal inventory, your character inventory menu, and the idea is to make it kind of seem like it's projected from your character. So it'll still function quite close to how it is now, like with some quality of life improvements. But the idea is that to make it more diegetic, kind of like Dead Space's UI, but not go to that extreme, but just kind of trying to find a happy medium here. So as you saw, like in this video, your bottom hotbar and these elements will be projected from your suit, and then here, like, they're still projected from your suit, and when you open your inventory, your character will, the camera actually will move away from behind him to this position, and then this UI will be projected out in front of him. Some of these UI fixes, UI improvements will be in this next build, this next patch. Others of them will. Wait, what the fuck? One sec. For some reason, it just said. That my download failed. This is annoying. Huh. I don't have time to sort that out. So for some reason, the download of the latest build that I wanted to show you guys, okay, I'm not going to be able to show you guys the latest build because my download just failed. It has been one hell of a day. So anyway, let me actually get to talking then about more of the patch notes stuff. I wanted to show you guys shiny cool stuff, but I can actually just be talking more about this. Actually, I can put some. I'll just throw some gameplay in the background. Oh, where's it go? There. So, discussing some of the bugs and stuff that we've been working on and been fixing. There's so many of them. So, first of all, people will struggling to build foundations sometimes due to little rocks in the terrain. Like just little ones that were scattered out through the environment were actually blocking the construction, which didn't make any sense. So we fixed that. We fixed a lot of pieces of the walls didn't fit well together, or there'd be if you built a wall, upgraded it to tier 2, you couldn't build something next to it. We fixed like 50 of those errors. You see, like that's here. like scaffolding window frame, tri-ceiling. Like these are all like those kinds of fixes. We fixed the bug that some people use quite creatively, which I do kind of like, where if you destroy the foundation after building the building would float there. So that was a bug. That's not intentional. That's been fixed. So if you had a building like that, when you get this patch, it will collapse. Kind of the downside of like an unfortunate reality of this kind of early stages and stuff, that when we do update stuff, sometimes past saves will be incompatible with the updates, or sometimes past saves will have weird secondary effects and stuff like that. But anyway, so we fixed that. Later on in the future, we're going to be adding more building support options, so you could still build those bases that are seemingly like off the ground significantly, but you would have like build support columns and stuff. And then you would also be able to use that to like build bases that reach out over cliffs and like over the edges of craters and stuff like that. So that will be part of, we fixed the issues right now, and then we'll be adding that functionality later on. We did the UI work, as we said. We did some more rebalancing to temperature and the day-night cycle. We fixed issues with when you died, the inventory that you had on you disappearing immediately. We fixed issues with what else? There's like so many things here, I'm losing track. We did a bit more balance updates. We fixed whatever like actual bugs are. Oh, we changed we added 3D icon, like 3D, we improved the resource models. So if you have an iron bar and you throw it on the ground, like you'll see an iron bar on the ground that you pick up again. The windows, right now the main bugs we're working on, like that still seem to kind of be there, is the windows disappearing. We thought we fixed it, and it seems like there's something else going on that we're not sure where they're being reset. So we're working on that, and we think we have a fix for it, but the problem that's made it very hard to test is that it doesn't happen always, happens some of the time, and quite infrequently. So it's hard to know. Like we apply a fix, pass it on the QA team, they start working on it, and it may be fine for like 6-7 hours of 3 different people playing, and then it happens to someone. So like you're never really sure, like, did we actually fix it, or have we just gotten really unlucky trying to reproduce it, or lucky, depending on how you look at it. And I guess we'll move on to questions then. I'm sorry I wasn't able to show you the newest build. It's been a really crazy day. As always, I appreciate the patience. And anyway, you guys will have the update to play in the next couple of days anyway, so. One important thing, sometimes, just so you all know, when we put out patches, there may be some adverse effects with old saves. We try and test for that, and we try and fix those situations so that old saves are compatible with updates, but it's not always possible. And it's just, was a reality of this early stage of development. That's kind of why we're doing this stage as we are, why we're focusing just on gameplay, improving features and stuff like that. Because once you start adding in persistency and monetization seriously, then you don't have that freedom to change and tweak and improve systems. And that's what you need. At the end of the day, like, our objective here is to make a fun game that is also play to earn, because, well, if the game's not fun, no one's going to play it, no one's going to be making any money anyway. It's like, first it has to be fun, so we need this kind of freedom to be able to make improvements and not be beholden to past decisions. So I'll start going through questions and stuff. Let's see. Okay. I have some bugs when I play characterized inventory. But yep, that bug's been fixed. So the new patch that comes out, that shouldn't happen anymore. This game is addictive and immersive. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much. I also tried to build the oxygen filler, but it stops. Yes, that's also been fixed. The heater also. The heater was having a lot of problems where it would randomly turn off and stuff like that. That's also been fixed. Or not randomly turn off, that you would have to turn it off and on again for it to work. That's been fixed. When Mac Edition, we don't have a date on it just yet. It's something that we're always looking into, but the problem is the moment we put a Mac Edition live, it means every patch we do, every change we make, every feature we add, and every update we make takes more time to do because we have to produce it and then port it to Mac and then do quality assurance for both. So it's kind of a balancing act, because the moment we do that, all development across the board slows down a bit. A bit too significantly. So we are looking into it, we're working on it, but it's a pretty big strategic decision for when we actually pull the trigger and put that live, because it does just slow down all development, it sucks, but it is something we're working on. There will definitely be a Mac version. It's just the decision of when we focus our resources on supporting a live Mac version is a decision that I would rather... there's a lot of cost to that decision. And I don't mean cost financially, I mean costs to all of us as a community who want to have this game up and running as soon as possible. It's a fantastic game, a few more improvements and it will be fire in general. But it's addictive and you need to see what will happen in the future in terms of earning. Maybe it's time to quit my job. Oh, well, I mean, I'm glad you guys like it. Honestly, I've really been pleased with the community feedback we've gotten with what you guys have built. It's so cool. It's really inspiring to see, and it's awesome. That's why we make games. We make games, at least I make games, because I love seeing people have fun with the games I made, and I've been seeing a lot of that recently, and that's super motivating. Someone said, I'm building Elon Mars station. Unfortunately, won't be ready for this concept, but that's fine. I enjoy building. I'm pretty sure we'll be doing another few building competitions. This has been really interesting to watch, and it's also been great to see what people have done with the building system we have right now, and it really pushes it to its limit, which is what this demo was about. This demo is about pushing the building system and the crafting system to its limits so we can see where do we need to add more content. And where, what's the kind of thing players are doing and where should we be focusing our development efforts to make things more fun. Seeing all these amazing buildings makes me think it would be cool to have a built-in PDE structure in which players can make a living as architects for landowners. That's actually the reason why we have the scaffolding system that we have right now, is because eventually the idea is that you could hire someone to design you a building in scaffolding, set up all the scaffolding, lay it all out on your land plot where you want it, and it costs very few resources, and it's easy to destroy if you want. It's not a big deal that stage, and then you can pay them to do that, and then you can go and upgrade it when you have time and resources, etc. So it makes an easy way for someone to build you a cool building. You see it's cool, but they haven't needed to invest resources in it. So it kind of makes it basically our way of letting them have build you blueprints and stuff. So that's the idea, is that would that would be supported by the job system. So you'd hire people to do that. They would build you. They would scaffold out a really cool base, and then you could go upgrading it over time. It still pains me to build half of my building, and then realize I couldn't do it because of uneven surfaces. But I guess it's just my building being too big. It is, but more so, I think that's actually a failing with the system, like with the building system right now, and something I want to improve on. Because if you want to do something that's cool and you can't because of technical restrictions in the system, that's not cool. I don't like that. Like, the idea is that you should have freedom to express yourself creatively. Like, that sounds really like airy fairy, but like, seriously, like, that's the point of this kind of building system. So we'll be adding more components to it, such as support beams and stuff like that. And what we'd be doing that. So the idea is that you could, obviously you can't start building into like the ground and colliding with stuff, but it would allow you to, like, if you have an uneven surface, let's say like at a slant, you could start building at the highest point, and then as you stretch further and further above the ground, you can start putting support pillars and stuff like that, so that you can still build ridiculously massive bases, even if you don't have that much flat ground. Because the reality is that there isn't that much elegant, clean, flat ground on Mars. So that is something we want to improve, and we will be improving. Oh, someone else pointed out the land gets more even near the edge of the map for those who are interested. Yes, it does a bit. Well, we start the player on the side of a mountain because it's a cool place. Yeah, that's literally the only reason. For this first demo, we wanted to just start at a cool place, give you a bit of an overview of the land, and I had that idea of like the crash site for the tutorial, and well, it made sense. It would like crash into the side of a mountain kind of thing. But also at the very bottom of the mountain that you're at, like where you spawn, the direction you're facing, if you just run down that entire hill, there's also some nice flat land down there and a lot of little craters all around. However, it gets foggier there, like dustier in the air. And if you go opposite, if you go higher up, it gets a bit clearer. When will full game be released, and have you planned about fulfill all liquidity in the future? Now, the full game releasing is kind of a complicated question, because as it is effectively a games as a service, we'd always be expanding on the game and stuff. The full MMO play to earn experience with like land management systems, and like the moment you can go from a land and circumnavigate all of Mars, that's still quite a ways away. There's a lot of development to do to get to that point. We're looking at hopefully like mid to late 2023, at least to the point where that's all at a fairly stable playable level. But like where you draw the line saying it's done, that's a pretty subjective question, because well, actually, one of my mentors used to say, a game is never done, people just stop working on it. And it's very true. Like, you never finish a game. Every game I've ever launched, I've always felt like there was so many unfinished things in it, so many things I wanted to add, I just didn't get time to, etc. And that's kind of the advantage of this kind of play-to-earn style of game, is that hopefully we'll be able to keep expanding it, keep growing it, keep building on it, and have the community help us build on it for years, even decades to come. Have you planned about fulfill all liquidity in the future? I'm not sure what that question means. So I can't really answer that, sorry. Cool, Mars rovers. Yes, actually there'll be an announcement quite soon for 4 vehicles that we're adding to the game. The ones that you guys have found around the map already. We'll be releasing those as NFTs, and you will be able to drive them around the game and stuff like that fairly soon. When exactly fairly soon is, I'm not sure, because right now we're balancing fixing and making the improvements to the game that you guys have requested and adding features. So like for the past 2 weeks, we've been focused almost entirely on bug fixes and improvements that players have requested, etc. And then we'll be hopefully once we reach a bit more. Well, hopefully, when we reach a bit more of a stable state of the current game, well, not stable, like it is stable, but removing some of the bugs you guys have all been experiencing, which hopefully this patch will do, then we'll start moving more of the development team back onto feature production and just leave maybe 1 or 2 engineers on bug fixing and stuff. And the next things we will be looking at adding are vehicles as well as just some additional building pieces and components and stuff like that. But when I say like feature development, there's kind of 2 ways to add stuff to a game. You can build new features, which takes programmers time, and you have to build new systems for things, like the building system. That was a very complex system we had to develop. Now that it's developed, to add a new piece to it or to add a new upgrade tier is significantly easier. Like that's something we could do with like a week or 2 of someone's time. Whereas building a building system like that from scratch takes more like many months. So we'll be adding more content to the building system, the crafting system, the machines, and at the same time, the next new feature we'll be adding will be vehicles. And then soon after vehicles, we'll get growing in, because when potato. How will you manage to create almost 100,000 different lands? Do you use random or semi-random algorithm? What we do, now this process is still in production, but we take NASA's height map, because they have an elevation map of Mars. Then we cut it up into, well, no, first we take the elevation map of Mars, which is just an image. It's like a 94K image, but it's just an image. Then we take NASA and Roscosmos's asteroid impact location map, which is a map of a whole bunch of like points that say like general radius of asteroid, like time of impact, stuff like that, estimated time impact or erosion level. I forget what that stat is exactly. And then we generate those asteroid impacts and then update the NASA's elevation map with that, like our own asteroid map on top of it. Because the problem is NASA's elevation map by default isn't high enough resolution to see the craters. So if on your land map you physically can see you have a crater, NASA's elevation map won't see it, because it's a lot easier to collect color data than it is elevation data. So the pictures are clearer than the height maps. So to solve this, because obviously like if you bought a land plot because there was a crater there, like it's important that there is actually a crater there. So to solve this, we are then overlaying that asteroid impact location map and then basically like drawing our own asteroid impacts in the correct locations. And then we take that map, wrap it around a globe, and like draw all the land borders on it, and then cut up each one into a piece, and then export that terrain data into another pipeline, which then goes through and adds more procedural content. So, because obviously like the data from NASA is very low quality, like you can't, if you just scale it up to this size, everything's just kind of a blob. So then we would go over that and add a lot more detail, like elevation detail, like using NASA's geological information, how Mars was formed, how things erode. We simulate basically like fake AI upscaling basically of the terrains. So like actually here right now, what's behind me right now, which I can't pause. So in the actual NASA data, you see how there's like, in the actual NASA data, there'd just be like a flat slope here. But then we procedurally went in and added in these like ridges and plateaus and stuff like that, because we know that if there is a flat slope like this, realistically it probably would look more like this. It would have ridges and plateaus and small valleys and like little cliff lines and stuff like that, because that's how the geology is formed. So we do that kind of thing. So like on the real map, like on NASA's realistic elevation map, this is probably just a slope, and then we added in all these other contours and details and stuff like that. So it is still a slope, it is still accurate to the best information we have, but we have to go in and artistically add our own flair to it so that it doesn't look boring. This is highly marketable in the Philippines. Axis Infinity GDP was coming from the Philippines. Yes, there's been like it's interesting to see where their fan base is, and I think at the end of the day, like if you make a good game, then the rest of the stuff is easier. Like if the game is fun, then people will want to play it. And that they'll want to play it if the market is up, if the market is down, whatever. And that's how you make a stable product. Like as we saw with Axis Infinity, they're very beholden to the market and the profit margins, and the moment playing the game isn't profitable enough, they lose huge portions of their player base, because without that profit element, the game isn't that fun. So, whereas if we make a game that is genuinely just a fun game, like if we were to launch this game with all those other features, right now it's still quite rough, but with all the additional features we'll be adding, we could launch it on Steam just as a normal game, and people would buy the game to play it for fun. That means if we take that game and add play-to-earn elements, I keep mixing up pay-to-win and play-to-earn in my brain. I'm just going to do it forever now, because every time I try and say play-to-earn, I say pay-to-earn. So, like, if we take that game that's genuinely fun to play, add play-to-earn elements to it, then even if the markets are in a good place or in a bad place, whatever's happening, like you have a large community of people who play the game because the game is genuinely fun. And that will make the markets and the value of the game and the value of the coin more stable, which will attract more people to play it for financial reasons. But like you have to have a core player base who want to play the game because it's fun. Otherwise, the moment it stops being profitable to play, everyone will leave the game and the game will die. And that's just a stupidly short-term way of looking at it. I'm interested to hear about plans for farming on Mars. So we're still developing the system. We have a few machines built already, a few hydroponic machines. I call like anything that you build and interact with that has an inventory, we call a machine. So we have a few different hydroponic machines already built, and I believe one of them is already working. Like a lettuce growing, what's it called? Like long tube hydroponics? I forget what it's called. But where you have like on Earth, we have a long PVC pipe with a whole bunch of like heads of lettuce in it, and the water runs through the pipe, then goes into a fish tank, and the fish tank like eat the remnants of roots and stuff like that, and then filter the water and shit in the water, and then their shit is then used to fertilize the plants. It's a really interesting system. I forget what it's called. It's a 3-letter abbreviation like TLC, something like that. But it's a way of growing lettuce in hydroponics. And so that machine is already designed and built, and we'll be adding more as time goes. The idea that we have right now is we'll be focusing like different machines that you can build on different types of fruits and vegetables and herbs and spices and funguses, etc. And then if you want to be able to make everything, you would need quite a large garden building to support all of those different plant growing machines. It wouldn't be like just one like plot of dirt that you can put whatever seed into you want. There'd be a lot of variety to it, because we want to make that like a career path you could go. Like being a botanist and focusing on growing stuff, like there's a lot of stuff you can grow. Different things grow differently. You need to build different structures and support systems to grow different things, etc. So we want to make it a fairly deep system. Is it possible to create in this engine a swimming pool and allow players to swim in there? Yes, it is. That's something we may add later on as kind of a decoration item. At the moment, though, we haven't thought about it, but it wouldn't be that hard. Yeah. I think we need to get some sort of like feature request thing set up, because like we never considered adding a swimming pool, but we could do it. Wouldn't be that hard. I think we could do it with our current building system. It would be kind of messy with the UI, like we need to figure out like how exactly you select the swimming pool, but yeah. But we need to come up with some sort of feature request system so the community can like request things and then vote on them and see what's priority. Like if everybody wants us to add functionality for a swimming pool and they're willing to like delay the next feature releases by like a week or two, then sure, like we have no problem doing it. But we'll need to come up with some kind of like a DAO structure for that. We have been discussing it, we just haven't had time to really implement that. What will make the game survive is the interaction between its players. What kind of interactions do you plan? I agree with that. Like the cooperation element is a huge, like is what keeps these kinds of games alive. I think the main interaction element that we'll see is from the economic side, like trading of resources. Once you've built a big base, once you have a good production system, a mining pipeline, stuff like that, then there'll be resources that you have excesses of that you don't really need, and other players, newer players especially, will need those significantly. So automatically there is a I forget the word, but there's like an icebreaker. You have something you don't really need and someone else really wants it and they really need it. So by having that interaction, that will be a catalyst for players communicating, working together, negotiating, trading, whether it be for profit or just for community. Like if you want to develop your land plot, maybe you'll just say anyone can come live here, like here's a whole bunch of extra like iron that I don't need. And then by that, lots of people would want to come and move on your land plot, and you're getting taxes for everything they purchase and sell. So there's a lot of ways to deal with that, some of them more capitalistic and some of them more altruistic. And I think that we'll see a lot of player interactions, at least starting from that point. Where can I buy a t-shirt like yours? That's a good question. You need to bug the marketing team about that. I got 2 of these, and they were the only 2 they had left because I was sneaky. They gave me one for an AMA, and then I forgot it in the hotel, and then when I went to do the AMA the next day, I was like, oh my god, I forgot my t-shirt, you have to give me another one. So I got 2. They think it's because I'm stupid. Really, I'm sneaky. But yeah, like we need to get them to make more and sell them. Just Spiros, the art director, he also wants one, but he doesn't have one. So yeah, everyone needs to bug the marketing team about getting more of these made, because the rest of the development team also wants them. How will terraforming happen? So that is a very interesting question that we haven't decided on an answer for yet. Because once we introduce terraforming, like in the traditional like red planet, blue planet, green planet style of terraforming Mars, then a new player who joins after it's a green planet will no longer be playing a survival game. At least not in the same way that people who are playing now are playing a survival game. So there is it's a very interesting long-term goal we want to have for the community as a whole, but we need to make sure that the way it's executed doesn't hinder the experiences for new players joining after the terraformation has happened. There are different ways we could do this. One of them, which is not realistic, is allow people to terraform their land plots individually. That way, a new player would join on a new land plot they bought or on a public land plot which isn't terraformed, and then they have that same initial survival experience. Whereas, I don't know, Bob has a really nice terraformed land plot that other people want to go move to. So that's one option. It's not scientifically accurate at all, but gameplay mechanics wise, I think it's pretty good. It also then makes terraforming more of a more of a collaborative, like, guild project to try and terraform a land, whereas realistically terraforming would be more of a, like, population planet-wide effort that everyone would be involved in and everyone would succeed together. But that takes away a bit of independent player agency, which is really important in games. Well, I mean, it is really important in games, but it's also something that we are very focused on maintaining, is that player agency, like letting you guys play the experience you want to play and run your land the way you want to, earn money the way you want to, playing the things that are fun in the game for you. So I don't have a clear answer of how terraforming will happen because it's a question that I think is more important than most, and I think we don't have enough information to make a good decision on it. I think terraforming is kind of like in a classical MMO perspective, like an expansion pack could be. Like if we go with that planetary wide terraforming. So like after, not expansion pack in the terms that it's sold, but like World of Warcraft when it released like Wrath of the Lich King, it is a change and evolution in the experience for everyone playing. So more thought needs to go into that, but the questions we need answered to be able to address that question we don't have yet. Like we need to have the core feature set in, we need to have everyone playing on that feature set and giving feedback, and then we can see if what players enjoy and the direction players want the game to go, if there is a way, like, not if, but like how we introduce terraforming to match that direction of fun. Do you plan to build a capital city somewhere on the map? We don't plan to own a Mars4 capital city. Although some of the developers, like we have been talking that we want to like have our own like development land, but that's mostly just because we want to have our own land with blackjack and hookers. So that's not to be a capital city. It would be more of a slum. But the idea is that like we want the community to build the capital city. You guys pick where it should be, why it should be, what makes it valuable, and I think what we'll see is there'll be a lot of different communities who try and build the capital city of Mars. And the court of public opinion will decide which one actually becomes the capital city. And it'll probably be the one that is the most free and open. And I actually have no idea what it'll be. And that's an interesting social experiment, which one will actually end up being the most attractive to other players to join. Andrews just asked if I'd like to share my opinions on if players should terraform Mars into a blue planet and green planet. I already did that. And yes, to answer your questions, yes, I would like to share my opinions, and I already did. Although you said also on how or if they should. How is super interesting. If we did go the route of like planetary terraforming, the first step you need to do is you need to build a magnetosphere again. Because the biggest problem is even if you have an atmosphere, the solar radiation and solar winds will just blow it away, basically. Like Mars can't maintain an atmosphere with the gravity it has, and not having an ozone or anything like that to protect it and sustain it. And there's interesting ways to build a magnetosphere. One of them is using the basically building a ginormous electromagnet on Ceres and having that generate the magnetic field. Because the orbit of now I'm remembering an article I read like 8 months ago, so like bear with me, I'm probably messing this up, but the orbit of Ceres, if you would build a ginormous fuck off electromagnet on Ceres, the orbit of Ceres is such that it would be a fairly close what's sort of like not proximity, but fairly close facsimile I think of a proper planet's magnetosphere. And that's a lot easier than trying to like remelt the inside of Mars. So yeah, that just seems like super cool. Like if you know like sci-fi stories, the idea of turning a moon into like a giant Death Star electromagnet to build a magnetosphere to terraform Mars, like that's fucking awesome. I really like that. That's probably my favorite. So yeah, don't be surprised if you see that sometime in the future. Terraforming will be about taking off the helmet. So that's another thing that we actually changed. You'll read about in the patch notes. If you guys notice right now, if you press F, it opens the visor to your helmet. Which means unless you're in an airtight room, you almost instantly die. So that was like a dev hack kind of thing for us to test the airtight rooms and make sure they function. Like we could just press F and it would open the visor to our helmet, and like it was an easy way to test if an area was survivable or not. However, there's a problem. Like you move around with WASD, and D is really close to F. So we got a lot of bug reports of people saying like, I just died for no reason, I don't understand. And it was because they pressed F without even realizing it and then just died. Literally just standing on Mars and then just like open visor, instantly like run out of oxygen and freeze to death. Can you build your own suit on Mars? I want to look like Obi-Wan Kenobi. There will be a lot of character customization. That's something we're also working on. That, to be fair, actually, that'll probably be done before vehicles. And let's save that for another live stream. But it's gonna look really cool. I was hoping to have the characters done next week, although if we're being honest, I don't think there will be. It'll probably be another week or two. But yeah, let's save that for the next live stream. There's a lot of cool content on not just like customization of visuals and like different pieces you can add to your suit, but also there's the whole topic of brain fart. Coloring. Like the suit we've divided up into like thousands, like not thousands, like 30, 40 different pieces that you can all color independently, so you can come up with really cool, interesting color patterns of your character and color schemes and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of really cool shit to do there. For the moment, someone said move open visor to another key. For the moment, we just turned it off for now. We will be adding it back, but the problem is like we added the open visor because we're lazy. What we should have done was removing the helmet, but this character isn't our character. This is just a placeholder character, and it didn't have support for that. So we just made the visor open. Once we get our character in, we will add the key back. And we won't put it on F. We'll put it on like P or something really far away. And at that point, you'll be removing the helmet. Because the biggest problem with the visor, like raising the visor, is that because the visor is like in front of you and you're looking from behind, when you raise the visor, like the visuals haven't changed that much. So it's really easy to raise the visor and not even know you raised the visor. You're just dying instantly. So, yeah. We will re-implement it, but better. Also, it will be more fun to just actually take off your helmet on the surface of Mars and die that way. Like, more cinematic. Yeah, rooms with air. If you build an airtight room, and if you build an airtight room and then put an oxygen generator in it, you can like turn on the oxygen generator and it will make it a livable, habitable room. Like at that point, it doesn't use up your suit's oxygen like forever. This is on Unreal Engine 4. We will be upgrading to Unreal Engine 5 at some point in time, but Unreal Engine 5 is still kind of buggy, and I think we'll probably put it off for another 4 or 5 months at best. At best or worst, I don't know. About another 4 or 5 months. At that point, we'll probably upgrade to Unreal 5. Can we have a key for a front-facing camera? What do you mean by a front-facing camera? Like to rotate the camera around so you can see your character from the front, not from the back? I just now have to wait for the stream delay. I do want to add in not only a... guys, do we use blueprints or C++? Mostly about 50-50. As this is still an earlier prototyping stage, like there's a lot of value in using blueprints just because it's faster. For example, a lot of the building system uses blueprints. The crafting system is mostly C++. And then the character and character controls and camera and all that stuff is all C++. We will be converting the building system over to C++ once we're a bit more solidified with it. But right now, it's just easier to have it in a blueprint form so we can be playtesting it, easily changing it, updating it, etc. So someone said, I definitely find the global terraforming option more sociologically interesting and more fun. It's also more analogous to how to solve climate change problems on Earth that require global cooperation. Yes, that is definitely true. I think it could also be really interesting if we gave some like pros and cons to the terraforming initiative. So it's not... like, for example, if we allowed people to pollute in some way, so then there is a choice and there is like reasons and people who are pro and against the terraforming, and that would be very interesting, very like socially interesting, because you would have like division and like conflict, differencing of opinions and stuff like that. Rotation, yes, just for show. So yeah, we should be able to get a form of character, like rotating the camera around the character. I also want to add in like a free look camera, so that one thing I noticed, well, we all noticed, all the developers noticed, that a lot of people, they built really big, cool buildings, and then they had to build this massive tower to climb to the top of to get a nice like view on the base they built. So if we have some kind of like drone camera that people could fly around to get cool perspectives, that's something that I think would be quite nice. When exactly something like that would be added, I'm not sure, but that's kind of a nice to have thing that we're talking about. What about 360 VR in demo? Is that something that's possible to do in the demo? Yes, it's possible. However, similar to the Mac situation, it adds more work we need to do for each launch, for each patch, for each update. And what we're trying to do is keep that added overhead to a minimum so that we can be adding features as fast as possible. Uh, and so for that reason, like we haven't added it yet, and it's probably something we're not going to add too soon, just because, as I said, like we want to keep as few additional steps as possible so that we can get to our final goal as fast as possible. Someone asked, can we support the team with 3D content? Yes. I think like if you're interested, like if you are a 3D modeler and would be interested in doing that, feel free to drop me a message or something. I'd send me a portfolio, because right now a problem that we had is that once a team gets too big, you end up having your most talented developers, engineers, artists, etc. Managing and correcting other people's mistakes instead of just doing a good job in the first place. So because of that, I try and keep a very lean team as much as possible and try and make sure that the most skilled and most experienced people are able to just do the jobs instead of having them manage less experienced people to do them. Instead of managing less experienced people to do those jobs. So because of that, I'm hesitant like to open up like 3D production to the community as a whole, because then that means one of my skilled 3D artists would need to be overseeing, fixing, improving, etc. What the community makes instead of just making it himself. However, if someone is an experienced 3D artist or something, I said just like send over your portfolio. Like our art production pipeline is I was about to say simple. It's not simple, but it is awesome, actually. Using decal sheets, and we use Blender and decal machine, and so you have like simple materials you lay out. I'm going into probably more detail than anyone wants to hear, but instead of like custom texturing each piece, you build a piece, you set what different materials are where on the piece, and then you use decals using decal machine in Blender to like put nuts and bolts and scratches and whatever else you want to on it, and that is a lot more efficient both in production time and also in performance in games. So if you are a 3D modeler and do want to help out, like feel free to write me and I can share our art pipeline documents and stuff with you, and you are welcome to give it a shot. But it's not something that we're actively looking for the reasons I discussed previously. Fuzzy just said, I had connection lag. Was my question answered? Sorry. Your question was just answered now, so you're probably getting that answer in the delayed future. Past, sorry. Oh man, this beer is so good. So good. It is like 14% alcohol, but I mean, who's counting? Aliens, are you gray team or green team? Oh, I am of the team that aliens are outside of our physical comprehension. Because like everything we see of aliens in sci-fi is so based on Earth stuff. I mean, you have stuff like aliens that are just bugs, and then you have like Geiger, who aliens are just penises, or then you have other things that are aliens that are just kind of like lizards. Like I think realistically, realistically, I hypothesize that the aliens that we would encounter, we will eventually encounter, I assume we don't kill each other first, would be something beyond our comprehension. Like, even something as simple as, like, bones with muscle on the bones, like, that's something that so many so many creatures on Earth have, because that was a trait that randomly evolved so early on, and then was successful. So everyone got it. So we assume that this concept of like either an exoskeleton or an internal skeleton is like you kind of have to be one of the two, and if you want to live like outside of water, basically. But realistically, like there may be solutions to that problem that we've never even considered, like air sacs, like lighter than air sacs, like blimp creatures. They're like a creature, kind of like a blowfish, but that lives in the atmosphere, that fills up air sacs with lighter gases than the atmosphere that they're in. And that is what gives them their rigidity and their ability to move around. Like, I think we'll find aliens like that, like stuff that we just couldn't even comprehend. So I am of blue team alien, basically. Long story short, I think aliens are blue. I love Blender. I love Blender too. I fucking love Blender. Blender is awesome. Blender is magic. I remember like 6 years ago, when I first started using Blender, like people were like, "Oh, that's the shitty cheap indie solution. Like, gotta be like Maya or 3D Max." And today you see like Pixar and Ubisoft and EA Games getting rid of Maya and Max and switching to Blender. It's just mind-boggling. Like, I can't believe that's actually happening. Okay, guys. I think we can call that a stream. Sorry it didn't go to plan. I guess you guys are gonna get... You're gonna get to all have your own personal first impressions of this next patch when it goes live. And, like, keep being awesome. Keep posting the buildings you guys are making. We're going to have another building competition for sure. Like, marketing hasn't said so yet, but, like, I will force them to do it because it's an awesome idea, and it's so cool for all of us developers to see it. And remember, you still do have another, I think, like 6 hours until this building competition ends. So if you have something you're working on that you haven't shown yet, show it. Like, come on, let's see it. Or if it's not ready yet, like, don't worry, there will be more. And yeah, keep surviving. Don't open the visor to your helmet on the surface of Mars. Cheers, guys. See you later.